How we doing today, guys? Sam and Alex back with the last fishing report for 2022 with you guys. Really excited to bring this report to you. It's that time of the year. There's not a bunch of people fishing, but if you are fishing, there's still plenty of productive routes out there. So starting out with the rockfish, which is what everybody's going to want to be talking about. People are still leaving down south, leaving at a breezy point, Point Lookout areas down that way. And from what I've heard over the past week, is you got to cover a lot of miles. But when you get onto these fish, they're traveling together because they're either deciding whether they want to stay in the bay in the deeper water and migratory here, or not migratory, or stay out in some deeper water in the ocean. Some of them are going to stay here, some of them are going to go out there. So these schools are still traveling together. So if you do run into them, casting out some of your bigger baits, don't be afraid to throw a 10-inch bait this time of the year especially. It's a really good profile there. They're feeding on big bait, whether that be herring or LY coming out of the rivers, especially the Potomac. So,
yeah, I mean, other than that, like you said, there's going to be fish here throughout the year. You can always get out there and fish with sledges with some heavy metal, jigs, flutter spoons, and always find some decent fish. If you're throwing some metal, I will say anything between 1.5 to 3 ounces, depending on how fast your tide's moving. Other than that, some freshwater, brackish water stuff like pickerel, yellow perch is about to start actually getting better as we speak now in the next few months. If you're brave enough to get out there in the cold weather, there's plenty of decent fishing going on. And I even heard of people up in Deep Creek starting to ice fish now.
yeah.
But let's talk about pickerel. I mean, it's been iced over.
But before it got iced over and after, some of the creeks are starting to break up, people are doing just as well as they were before the big cold front hit. Throwing your typical stuff, you might want to start slowing some stuff down a little bit. Maybe throw some jerk baits, which are a really great bet this time of the year, especially those ones that suspend. You can work them, twitch it along, and then let it sit, and it just kind of stays in place, but it still looks natural, and it's a great bait for this time of the year when that water gets truly cold.
And one of my little tips is, from now on, throw out a yellow perch pattern jerk bait. A lot of those yellow perch are going to be moving around, specifically if you're in tidal water. That's going to be one of my favorite patterns or colors to kind of mimic is that yellow perch pattern.
Yeah, they definitely seem to like that. And for whatever reason lately, we usually have really clean water in the winter months, especially in the tributaries here, but the water is kind of dirty, so the yellow perch patterns are great for that. These are, I think we've all been excited about these. If you've watched any of our stuff here on the channels lately, these new Megabass 110 in the junior size, this is an awesome bait for pickerel.
Oh yeah. Other than that, panfish, starting to get a lot of these perch moving up and staging up in some of these rivers. If you're up in the Susquehanna and around the flats, it's a little bit different over there, deeper water. But all these places on the lower eastern shore, where we're talking about, the Nanticoke, Wacomico River, and all those places down there, they usually get started a little bit earlier.
Yeah.
So you can always catch some of those, mix them with some crappie too. So we got plenty of minnows, live minnows. We got all the stuff you need. Other than that, let's talk about, I guess, a little bit of like the tog fishing going on offshore out of these head boats out of Ocean City.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun to do. You really got to dress warm for it, but it's essentially just putting crab on the bottom. There's nothing really much to it, whether you want to fish the newer style of technique with the tog jig, which you're not actually jigging it, it's just a form to put your crab on and stick it on the bottom. You fish that with a little bit lighter braid so you can get down lighter with lighter weights.
Right.
Or you want to do it old school and get a big ass 8 or 12 ounce bank sinker and then put a couple of crabs right above it, on like a traditional top and bottom rig. Or you actually see a lot of them because right now is when you catch the biggest tog of the year. And these tog are huge, and a lot of times you'll get like a full size, like 4-inch crab or even a 5-inch crab, and you'll put a 2-hook rig. We should talk more about that later, but a 2-hook rig for that is what you'll see on like Cat and Monty Hawkins' boat out there on the Morning Star and a couple other ones that leave out of Ocean City. If you want to catch some from shore, you're not going to catch nearly the big ones, but I've heard of some folks down in some of those inlets in Delaware catching them from shore there this time of the year.
In the River, Lewis Canal area there. The point being is, there's always going to be fishing going on, guys. Just because it's cold doesn't mean fishing's done.
Yeah.
If you can brave out there into some of this cold days, you can catch some fish. And whether it's freshwater, the bay, or the ocean, there's still something going on.
Yeah.
So, a little bit of recap for the year, I guess. had a decent year here in the Bay. A lot of stuff, a lot more people going south for Kobe and Reds and all that. So hopefully that gets better this upcoming year. Other than that, it's that time of year to change some hooks, some hardware, right?
Yeah, it's the time of year to really gear up and make sure when spring hits, you're not spending as much time here and you're spending more time out on the water, although we want you here too. But if you want to spend some time somewhere, it's right now. You head out to the garage or the tackle room and really start changing out some rusty hooks, deciding if you need to upgrade on some of your jig heads. If you're more of a trolling guy, making sure that your leaders are crimped well. You don't have to replace that. Things like that. Switching shads, getting new lines pulled on your reels. There's a bunch of us here full time still working, so if you need that line, we are here.
Yeah, so make sure you come by, get ready. We can show you guys how to do certain things and get you set up. Other than that, well, you guys have a happy New Year's here coming up, and let's hope and pray we get a really good season out there for everybody, whether it's stripers, cobia, redfish.
Yeah, whatever you're looking to do out there, we wish you the best of luck going into 2023. So thank you guys for watching them. I'm sure some of you guys have probably watched all of them. So
yeah,
we appreciate that, and take care.
Have a good one.